Hello? Can everybody hear me now? I forgot you need to turn up the gain on the microphone for it to actually work. Okay, cool. I was having issues with the microphone for like a little bit. Sorry if that was loud. Awesome. Because yeah, I don't know, I turned the gain all the way up on my mic, but like for some reason y'all still like could not hear me. So I finally figured out, oh, I could just turn the gain up in OBS Studio. Okay, cool. We should be good. So hey, what's up? How is everybody doing? Morris, I see you in the chat. Hey Megan. Hey Rakib, how's it going? So the mug I have today is a ghost. It's my Halloween mug. Hey Peter. Okay, let me actually turn the music off for a hot minute. So today we are going to be working on a Vapor application. So right now I am currently building an expense tracker app, and it is going to be for iOS 16. So we're using Xcode beta. Right now I'm on beta 2 because I haven't downloaded beta 4 yet, and it just came out. So because of that, beta 3 was having some issues of it was somehow affecting the other like stable versions of Xcode, so I never downloaded beta 3, and I haven't heard enough good news yet about beta 4, so I haven't downloaded that yet. But we right now are developing the database side. So I am making a custom Vapor application, and with Vapor, that allows me to make the API itself. So typically, you know, like how you would hit the GitHub API to find information like about your GitHub, I'm making that API myself as opposed to using some other like third party that's already been out there like Firebase or AWS. I'm making my own API using Vapor. So the iOS application that I'm making is going to be for iOS 16, and that will be all in SwiftUI. So because it's in SwiftUI, we get to use all the new SwiftUI things like Swift charts, and on the Vapor side as well, we are going to try to use passkeys, which is going to be super exciting. And I said most of that and did not start recording my stream, and I was gonna record all of it, so instead of repeating it, we'll maybe still just keep on going, because that'd be a lot to repeat. But okay, let me double check everything is like still working. It says good. Currently says 10 people are here, so hello to those 10 people. Okay. So that's what today is going to be, is we are going to continue building the Vapor API side of everything. So let's go ahead and get into it all. So I took the chat off of the screen this time because it takes up some space, and you all like are on YouTube, so you most likely probably have the chat already open like on whatever your device that you're on, like, you know, your phone or like a computer. So let me move that right there. Dostom, how's it going? How's it going, Dominic? So we are going to get started with the Vapor API. So I need to actually, I'm gonna turn the music back on. Actually, no, I'll leave it off for one more second. It's what we're gonna do is build the API. So I have a repo open right here. And this is what we did last time, which was mainly make all the different migrations that we'll need for the different tables in the database. And let's see if I open Sketch. Cool, it's telling me what's new because I just downloaded an update. Expense tracker. That's the one we want to look for. So here is Sketch. So what we did last time was all the different migrations. So we built basically what are the tables. So we have categories, accounts, income, and expenses. And that's what we did last time, was building out all of these. And somebody actually mentioned I maybe missed one of these properties, so we're going to double check that. But then now that we've built the database tables, we need to go back and actually build the, we need to build the fluent models. So fluent is an ORM, so it's what actually is like the thing that communicates with the database. So because of that, we have the database tables, but we need a way to communicate with them. So there's kind of two parts to that. It's the fluent model that does like the real actual communication, and it's the API side, and that is, the API is what will communicate with Fluent that talks to the database. And then the iOS app communicates with the API. So let's go and look at this, because I have not opened this project like since we worked on it last week. So we need Docker. So let's start to get that open. Docker desktop starting. Let me just bring it over here. And let's get some music going. So anyone let me know if it's too loud or you want to hear more music. But you should definitely be able to hear me above the music is usually preferred. Okay, cool. Expense tracker is there. And that's on. So let's open up a new tab and terminal. And doing this, it's we're gonna run Docker out of one of the terminal tabs, as opposed to, we could definitely just start it up with the Docker desktop application, but I think it's easier sometimes to just run from the terminal, because we just do Docker compose updb and hit enter, and then now it's starting the database. And let's run the application, or no, let's just keep that running. And what was we need to look at the database. So doing that, I have dbeaver installed on my computer to do this. There's a bunch of others, like there's Postgres, or phadmin, a bunch of different Postgres ones, and basically just something you can use to view the data that's in the database without having to actually like use the API or anything. So we are going to connect to this. So we connected. Our database is called Vapor Database. Open up schemas, and then here are all of our tables. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are our 4 different tables, but then we also have Fluent enums, because one of the values in our table is an enum, and then Fluent migrations, which migrations are what we did last time, which that is like sort of like the source control of like a database. And then we have to-dos, because that's like the example project, so I just kind of left them here because it's fine. Okay, so everyone who's here, thank you for joining me this morning. I literally almost slept through the stream this morning. I looked at the clock. It was 8:45 and I was like, oh no, I only have 15 minutes until I'm supposed to be live. So thank you for everybody else who decided to join today. Be sure to like the video, because that always helps. My YouTube channel is still growing, so a majority of the videos on my stream or on my channel are all like these live videos, and they're all really long. My goal is eventually to make some recaps, but that requires video editing, and I'm really, really slow at that so far. but let's look at some of these. Let's double check everything. We'll do view data, even though there's nothing here. So accounts, we have ID, that's a UUID, in the name, that's a string. So if we look at our data, the data, there's nothing there, but properties, we have ID, which is UUID, and name, which is text, which text is a string. Okay, so accounts is good. Let's check categories. View data. Properties. Okay, so categories, we have ID as a UUID. And let me just move. Can we have these next to each other? Make them small enough. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so categories is UUID, we have name, that's a string, is archived as a bool, and then type is category type. So that is our enum. We can talk offline, but you're happy to be able to edit for the benefit of this computer. Hey Morris, that's great. Yeah, I'll let you know. I have another thing that you may be interested in as well, and yeah, it's we'll see. But thank you for the offer. Yeah, I'll definitely email you with more info. Hey Anthony, how's it going? Good morning. Checking out my notifications real quick, because yeah, I throw like my phone on do not disturb for like the entire stream, so like when I come back it's always like all the notifications. Okay, so we are double checking everything we did last time. So we have categories table. Let's double check. Okay, we're gonna go back to income because income is the one that I think I have an issue with. So let's look at expenses. Let's do view data, properties. Okay, so expenses, we have ID, which is a UUID, category, which is also a UUID, category ID specifically, amount, which is an integer. That's what we decided last time, was that we are going to use an integer for the like amount of money because it's an expense tracker. And then we are going to use the currency, which is a string, and that's how we're going to figure out how many decimal points that we have, because that was a whole debate on like 2 different streams to figure out what data type we were going to use. And Postgres does have a money data type, but the Vapor isn't compatible with that one, unfortunately. So we decided to go with an integer. We have date, we have description, we have accounts, and currency. Okay, cool. And Anthony, good, you just bought an iOS programming book from the Big Nerd Ranch. It's coming in tomorrow. You've heard this book is highly recommended. Yeah, I've heard great things about Big Nerd Ranch. I don't ever buy books, honestly. I don't even think I have a programming book, honest. I'm trying to think. I don't think I even have one, like a physical book. But yeah, I have heard really good things about that book, so let me know how it goes. If you like it, and like recommend it to anybody. And then guitar. What is your name? Guitar Poplin. I like it. Have you heard of any problems using Vapor on Mac and then deploying on a Linux server? Does everything work, or is there some stuff you have to change? You think there was a problem in the past? Yes, so there is some problems. I'm trying to think of what it is, but there sometimes are problems developing on Mac and then deploying to Linux. There's like some functions here and there that don't work because they're like Mac only, and you have to do some kind of workaround. I cannot think of what they are, but there are a couple out there. So I would look around. They're not like super significant, like something like will, or I wouldn't say something would crash because anything could crash, but there are a few issues, I would say, here and there, but you'd have to check them out depending on what you're doing. Megan, have to be careful with dates. Yeah, probably. Dates are a headache. And then Rakib, you asked, what is Docker? So Docker is a part, let's look at Safari. So Docker, what is it described as? It is a set of platform as a service products that use OS level virtualization to deliver software in packages called containers. So what that means is, this is a good example. So typically you have, like my computer, it has its infrastructure, meaning the MacBook itself, the host operating system, so we run on Mac OS, and then we have Docker right now. So we are running the database in this like app A Docker container, and that means like it can just spin up and deploy, and it has all the stuff that it needs to deploy, as opposed to I don't have to like create a whole new operating system to make something work. Like if I was doing something that like may only be compatible with Windows, when in reality it may only need a specific library or something for Windows, or that's typically found on Windows to work, you can make what's called a container and run your app or something specifically within a container, as opposed to having to like spin up an entire VM, a virtual machine, because a virtual machine is like literally like, think of a physical machine except the entire thing is virtual. And then that's like how you can like dual boot, or not dual boot, but even have Mac OS and Windows running side by side. You don't need that whole extra like load of having the operating system. You can run it in a container. Does that help explain what Docker is? You can look into it. Docker is pretty cool. It goes into more infrastructure kind of stuff, which is like definitely a different rabbit hole, but it's cool. No, we cannot agree on a date format. No, date formats are hard. Can't agree. Did you see, I think it was like a CBS article or something, that the Earth is now rotating faster. This is so off topic of stream, but the Earth is now rotating faster than it has been like in previous years. So some committee or something was debating on adding 1 extra second to a day, like how we have a leap year where we add 1 year every 4 years, or sorry, 1 day every 4 years. There was a thing where they were saying let's add 1 second, or take away 1 second or something. I think it was take away 1 second, but so many things were saying like how it could wreak havoc on IT systems. Just removing 1 second, like every timestamp thing would be off. Anthony, you don't ever really buy books, but the first chapter dives deep into UIKit. It was perfect because you have a lot of code snippets and projects in UIKit. Yeah, definitely. UIKit is fun. Just ask Megan. I'm making fun of them. They don't know UIKit. To call them out this morning. Yeah, having code snippets, like every tutorial you do, you'll have code snippets of different things you do, and then that becomes like your library of different things that you have to like to always remember how to do something. So like this, right now we are building the Fluent migrations, and then when we go to actually build the API, which hopefully we don't know if we'll get into it, or we definitely will get into it. I was thinking if we are going to today, but yeah, I'm basically going to be using the example project to like get started with everything. And then if you go back and look at my migration stream, I like straight up copied and pasted like for every new migration that I did. Okay, so Megan, you need to learn UIKit. It's important. And then Morris, just make a second faster. It's all made up anyway. Yeah, I know. It's funny that like they want to add like 1 second to, I think it's to the entire year. Because I'm just like, how much would that help? It's 1 second. We already add 1 second sometimes, although it's not regular basis. It's on a need to add basis. For the curious, search a leap second. Okay, so this will be the first time we decide to try to remove a second. That just sounds, that hurts. Like I have had to manage like not databases, but I have had to manage databases and like a whole, not a whole, but like part of an IT like infrastructure, and that hurts my brain to think about removing 1 second. Dominic, you avoid SwiftUI, not mature enough for you right now, and you feel old. That's okay. It's definitely, I would say last year it was definitely not mature enough, but this past WWDC, it did have some good updates. So like now you can have a text box and an alert, whereas previously you couldn't. But it still struggles with some things, so we will see. Oh, Anthony, you saw my short video and now you're committed to learning UIKit. Love it. So go to my, you're already on my channel. Go to my YouTube channel, and if you go to like the shorts, I don't even know where that is. Oh yeah, you can go to videos and then find it, because I don't think I even have a playlist or anything for shorts. But if you go to the shorts on my channel, I did a should you learn Swift UI or UIKit, and it's like a 15-second like looped video. Yeah, Dominic, wait till you drop iOS 15. That's probably a good idea, honestly. Okay, let's double check the income table. That's the last one we haven't looked at yet. Oh shoot, what did I just click? Does anyone know what I clicked? Because I don't. Oh no, how do I... I don't use this that often, if you can tell. Where is the side menu? Oh my god. Okay, there we go. Oh, I must have clicked one of these that like minimize the side. Okay, well, let's look at income, view data, but we want to look at properties. Peter, you are 70 and started learning Swift UI in the first place. You find it ingenious. Yeah, that's awesome. Still programming. I don't want to say like still programming at 70. That sounds weird. But it's, there is no age limit to programming. There's a bunch of videos that just say, are you too old to code? Because when you don't know the answer, everybody's wondering what that answer is, but everybody who is in tech knows that the answer is nobody is too old to learn how to code. And yeah, Swift UI can be easy to learn in the beginning, but UIKit is still very important to know, I would say. But it depends on your goals, though. If you're just developing apps for yourself, I mean, you don't really need UIKit. But if you are looking to get a job, I would recommend it. Like, I made... So I made a blog post of should I learn UIKit or Swift UI, because everyone kept asking this, and this was in 2020. So I low-key just need to update this article and say for 2022. This article is like 3 tiny little paragraphs, if you can call them that. They're mainly just sentences. And the answer is it depends, but it's also to get a job, you practically still need UIKit. Yes, there's a couple that you don't, but for the most part, you do need it. And so for everyone, yeah, we haven't even done much programming yet, but it's always fun talking to everyone. That's like part of the stream, is just like chatting with everybody and having fun and just hanging out, learning some programming. So with that, if you like the stream and are having a good time, be sure to like the video, and if you feel so inclined, you can buy me a coffee on the Buy Me a Coffee website that I just dropped in the chat. You don't have to if you don't want to, it's totally fine, but if you want to, you can go for it. I would appreciate it very much. And I did finally set up the little stream alerts, so I think there's not sound, so if I like if you're going to and you really want me to see it, you can buy me a coffee and like let me know in the chat, and then I'll look at it, and then I should be able to see it like on my stream itself. But otherwise though, it'll still like show on the stream. It just like I may not see it because I'm looking like this way, because that's where my computer is, but like the camera's way over there. So let's look at the last thing, income. Okay, we have, let's move that over. Okay, we have income. It has a UUID. So we have that one. Let's do categorize UUID. Oh no, that's hard to see. Let's just... No, well, look at them. Okay, ID, categories ID. Or we can click them on the side here. We'll see them. Categories UUID. Amount. Currency. Did I even add currency to here? No, it's not in my... Currency. Okay. No, I'm sorry. I do not do lo-fi. I might like fall asleep. So I do like upbeat music. And this is pretty chill, even though this playlist says it's supposed to be hype. This is actually pretty chill, but sorry, I don't do lo-fi. Okay, this is string. Okay, we have currency. Description, account ID, invoice number. Oh, I did forget it. I have date paid. But yeah, someone told me I forgot invoice date. Okay. Do we have invoice number? And we said that oh, I don't know what the V means, but I believe... Okay, the V means it has to be there. Because ID has to be there. And we specifically say that can't be not null, or that cannot be null. So invoice number, okay, that can be null. Description can be null. Everything else, yeah. So yeah, we forgot invoice date. So how this actually works is we need to create a new migration for the invoice date because we cannot just go to the income table. Here. We cannot just go to the income table and just throw on invoice date because this migration has already run. So if we go to the Fluent migrations and look at the data, create income, this one already ran. And because of that, it's not gonna like run again with the updates. So we have to like actually make a new migration for this. But it will look similar. So let's create a new Swift file. What do we want to call this? It'll be an update. Income. What do we forget? We forgot invoice date. Update. Let's do update income invoice. That's really long, but oh well. Invoice date. It's specific, so. Okay. So what we actually need to do, we do need to run a migration, so we'll copy this top part. So, and this is actually going to be whatever I call this file, update income invoice date. And this is going to be the name of the migration. Okay, let's look up how we do this, because I know that's how you do this, but I don't remember the syntax on how we actually do this. We are doing... Okay, here, these are the Vapor docs for migrations. So this is creating a table. Let's go to like where we actually... Oh, these are just like the basics on how to run them. Okay, we need the schema. Oh, here it is. Yeah, we are calling update updates an existing table or collection in the database. Okay. So this is how you would have created a table, but we need to update a table. So to do update, we need to do... Let's make that smaller. Let's build the project, because I don't even think I built it yet. Where can you learn these things? You can go to YouTube And Code with Chris is another iOS YouTube channel. And I did a series on getting started with Vapor. So if you go to the playlist, I'll drop the link to this. But I taught this series, so this is the series you can do to get started learning Vapor. And it's pretty basic. What we're doing now is even more advanced, but the beginning is pretty basic. We also need revert. Okay, so we have prepare and revert. So prepare is the migration that's going to run, and then revert is if something goes wrong, this is what we want to do. So we want to do try await database, which is this parameter dot schema, and we want to do what is the create income. We called it income. That's the table name, and we want to do what is this doing? Oh, Morris, I didn't know you went through the whole course. Or maybe I forgot that. Did you do that this past summer, is go through my Vapor course? Yo, this music is not hype enough for me. Okay, yeah, you went through 1 through 4. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we want to do, what are we doing? We want to update, what is this one doing? This is updating unique on name and then delete field and then update. We want to, I think we can just do field. So we want to get a date. Is one of these a date? This one's a date. I believe, I'm not 100% sure. I think we can just do invoice date right here. And we do need the invoice date. That's like a required field. No, actually no, it's not required. Sometimes we don't send invoices. We have invoice date. And for anyone who doesn't know, this series is specifically for people who, for like freelancers and like solo entrepreneur kind of stuff. So that's why we have like the word invoice in this. So it's not like a personal expense tracker. Hey Martin, how's it going? How's your morning? Your computer ran into storage issues and you had to stop. That sounds about right for you. And, yeah, Vapor can take up a lot. When you look at like the derived data of this, just this project, it's like a gigabyte. It's like obnoxious. But we need to add invoice date as a field, and that should be optional because I forgot to add it. So we have to make this new migration. So we need to add the field, and then we need to call update here. And then in the revert function, okay, it's not going to be exactly like this because we don't want to delete the whole table. That's obnoxious. We want to... Okay, that is deleting a table. Yeah, okay, creating and updating. So we did the update part, right? How do we delete a column? How would we delete a field? Hey, the project is going good. The background music is a bit too loud for your taste. Okay. What about now? I turned it down a little bit. But you can, Peter, you can still hear me though, right? Like clearly above the music. Okay, we have ID, we have field, delete field, thank you. Okay, field key is in, we're not gonna type it, we are going to copy and paste. Invoice date, thank you. Is that on here? Oh yeah, delete field. If I kept scrolling, it's down there. We would have eventually got there. Yeah, we were up there, I think. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, cool. I think that's the last one because we did the rest of them. So let's run this migration. So we need to go back to our configure file and we'll add it to here. app.migrations.add and whatever we call this, update income invoice date. And when we run this, we should see in the console, it'll say that it ran the migration. And then also we'll see that reflected in our database itself. Okay, we have build succeed. Click OK. And there we go, we see the database migration ran. So it says starting prepare, finish prepare, and then it's running. So we can stop the project because we don't actually have anything built right there. But if we go here, we don't see it yet, but if we refresh, where is income? Income, refresh. There we go, invoice date is down here. So that's all we had to do. We'll keep that window open, but okay, we finished that last bit of our Postgres tables. Now we need to make the actual Fluent models themselves. So let's start doing let's actually first commit. That's what we need to do because committing is good. Okay, we added invoice date, or we added update income invoice date is the migration we added. And that's good. So let's do get add. If I can spell, get commit. Income invoice date. Add property to income table. Okay, there we go. Let's push this. And for anyone who's wondering, this is a private repo that I have on like my account because in reality, if you end up watching like all of these streams, you'll see what all the code looks like, but right now I'm going to keep the repo private. I may possibly open it in the future, but right now it's going to be private. Okay, so we have done that, and the next thing that we are going to do is now our Fluent migrations. So, or not migrations, just the Fluent models themselves. So right here, let me close those and we can keep configure open. So this is Fluent that we had to import, and Fluent is migrations are part of Fluent, but the Fluent model itself, like this model object, is what we are going to make now. So we have model and content. What are the actual model? Just says model, that's useful. What's content say? Content is convertible from HTTP response. Oh, and content actually conforms to Codable, so that's cool. And for anybody who didn't know, Codable is actually a type alias. Have you seen that? Codable is actually a type alias for encodable and decodable. Okay, so we are going to make something pretty much almost exactly like this. Let's start with accounts, because accounts is going to be the easiest one. And our model, so the table is called accounts because you could have multiple accounts, but the model itself is going to be singular, so it's going to just be account. So we're going to paste that, call this account, and then we have to change everything else. Actually, it's almost going to be exactly the same. So this is account. So we have account. So the schema, we need to make sure we use the same schema that we have here. So we called it accounts. So we have accounts right there. And we have accounts, we have ID. So we have an ID that's a UUID. And we have title, but instead of title, we are actually using name. So this is, so the name, that's the name of the actual field in your database. And then this one, the variable, this is the one that we'll use with all of our models themselves. So like in Swift code. So this is name, this is name. And the only thing I need to double check is this optional here, because we made all of ours not optional. Let's go back to the docs and look at model. Model represents data stored in tables or collections in your database. Models have one or more fields that store codable values. All models have a unique identifier. Property wrappers are used to denote identifiers. Fields and relations. Yep, so this is the property wrapper. Okay, below is a simple field with one example. Note, models do not describe the entire database schema, such as constraints and index and foreign keys. Schemas are defined in migrations. Models are focused on representing data stored in your database schemas. Okay, so that's how we create a new empty planet, and an empty. This one mess with everything. So Megan actually just did in their stream. What did you do that I saw? It's instead of using text somewhere, a string, you had used a type. Was that here? I don't remember. I'd have to look at our Discord, but I'll do that later maybe. So then we don't have so many strings. Was it there? Where did I just... Was it here? Wait, did you make a custom model for that? Like just the custom static variable, or did you create this actually? Yeah, because you could have done account.schema. So that would have been right there. Okay, I'm making this in a different order, so that's fine. Okay, all models have a static get only. Yeah, schema name is typically the class name pluralized and lowercase. So yeah, like our model is called account, but the table is called accounts, which is plural. Okay, yes, this uniquely identifies. Okay, please tell me why this is optional. So Morris is asking, I know he knows that I do freelance work. Has anyone ever asked me to build a custom backend for an app for them, either using Vapor or not? I have almost built a backend for a current freelance project that I'm working on, but I haven't needed to build a custom backend for somebody because, for one, it's a lot of work, and two, most of the freelance work that I've done so far has really just been iOS development. And a majority of people's like app ideas that they have, they don't need a custom backend. Like they can get away with just using like Firebase or some other pre-built backend. But I'd be open to it. It seems fun. I almost used it for one of the projects I'm doing, and we might possibly still, but that's still being decided. Megan, you almost did for a new enum for the schema names, but you just followed an article. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, identifier. All models must have an ID property. This uniquely says it's an ID. Yeah, we have that. SQL and... Oh my gosh, for SQL it's ID, for NoSQL it's underscore ID. It's a type of UUID. This is only identifier value supported by all database drivers. Fluent will automatically generate new identifiers when models are created. Okay, here we go. ID has an optional value since unsaved models may not have an identifier yet. To get the identifier or throw an error, use require ID. Okay, so it looks like we are totally fine to keep this as optional. Awesome. And then you can have custom identifiers, so like sometimes you won't use UUID for, you wouldn't use UUID for the ID of like the table. You may use like somebody's name plus the last four of their social security number. It's a bad example, but you may use like some other properties like together, or it could be calculated or something, or just like, yeah, use an integer, which is totally fine, but UUID pretty much ensures that it will be unique, whereas if you use like first name, last name, if you use first name, last name, there's a lot of people who have the same first and last name, so it's not unique. But the primary key of your table has to be unique. Peter, for further development, it is better that you create an enum that defines all names like table names. Yeah, that'll probably be good, because then you can not type strings here. But really, the only time you'll type them is right here, is in the models that you create and the migrations, because you don't ever type the table name anymore. After that, you use the model. You almost tried to do a custom ID route for this ID, for an idea that you're working on, but it was a lot more work. Yes, it is. Yeah, with a custom ID, you have to like make sure what you're doing will 100% be a unique identifier, which can be difficult. In one of my apps that I have, I do use an integer for the ID property, and it's been fine. I was like slightly worried because I was like, oh no, integer has a limit. Its limit is like some million, some kind of million. Or no, it's even no, it's way more than million. It's like billion, trillion, something like that. But I kept it in my app because it's an app for tracking job applications, and if you've applied to over like 37 million trillion job applications in Break the App, that's impressive. Okay, so we have accounts. Cool. I'm trying to think. Yeah, we can't really test this because all we can do is build it and see if it builds, which this will. But this one was easy. What would be the next one? Let's do categories. Oops. Yeah, this one is easy because it doesn't have any relationships with anything else. So we'll just commit this. That says let's do git add, git commit, create account model. Cool. And let's do another one. Let's do categories now. And again, the model name is actually category, even though the plural is categories. And because it's English, you can't just add an S, it's gotta be spelled differently. Okay, we have category, and actually let's keep account open because we're gonna use this to like copy and paste all of them. Okay, so we can delete import foundation, and this will be category. No, category schema is categories. You really like how Discord docs custom IDs. There are less jobs than the limit. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by that. Okay, what are we doing for categories? We have ID. We have name. Okay, this will be type. We'll get back to that one. And we have at field key. Oops. Is archive that I totally spelled wrong. And you want to make sure these strings do need to match. If we, yeah, we should just open create categories. They need to match this string name because this is the name of the column. And this is that connection. So we have var is archived, which I'm just gonna also type back out or paste. And that is a bool. Oh, there is a shortcut I think that does creates the initializer. What is that shortcut? I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure there is one. Okay, we have name. Okay, we'll do type. Oh, they no longer apply. Okay. Okay, Peter, I'm waiting on your example. Love to know what it is. Okay, we need to do the model, and here's enum. Okay. Ooh, here, exactly what we need. The vapor docs are great. Oh yeah, Peter, you can't drop links. I don't know if there's a way to enable that, but yeah, it's definitely disabled that you can't drop a hyperlink in the chat. Okay, we are doing type of income expense. So we need to do @enum key whatever. What do we call this? We called it category type. And this is var. Yeah, we're just gonna call it type, which of course is the example. And okay, we do need to define the enum itself above. Yeah, so we will do enum. What do we want? We want income and expense. This is okay. No, we are definitely going to call this category type, and it needs to conform to string and codable. Okay, because I was gonna just call this type, which this can be called type, the property itself, because you have a type, it's in the table called category, so you can assume that's category type. But if this is gonna be outside of it, we don't want to just call this type, because that's too abstract. Okay, that, let's not miss any. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we need to make the init though. Oh, that's interesting. So an enum defined route definition static let containers is equal to containers return database.schema. That's interesting. I don't think I've used that. Okay, let's do category type of type. Category type is archived of type bool. Oh no, we're just gonna call that type. Okay, there we go. Category done. Oops. We'll do close that one, and let's commit this one, git commit. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I was wondering, how loud is my typing? With the music and everything, like, I was wondering how loud that is. Hey Morris, yeah, thank you for stopping by. It's funny that you stopped by, and I'm gonna probably email you, or I'm going to be emailing you later. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Have a good rest of your day. And Moritz, hey everyone, it's super elegant how Fluent handles enums as their own table. Yes, that is super cool. So yeah, I'm doing, here's the Fluent enums, and if we look at the data, which doesn't have any, or we do have the two types, we have income and expense, or is our category type. Because we'll have a single table for the categories themselves, and they'll be either an income category or an expense category, but we still have two separate tables for income and expenses, as opposed to putting them together in like a table called transactions, because they have different properties on them, and because of that, I didn't want to like make half the properties only be relevant for like half the amount of entries, so because of that, I broke them up. Create a constant file which you define all table names and route names. Yeah, I could do that. I haven't so far, but I might do that. I'm not sure yet. Because you don't need to know the route names within the API itself. I may do that when you need it for the whatchamacallit, the iOS app, but for the Vapor model in Vapor side, I don't know if we need that. Okay, we'll keep this open, we might use it. Okay, we have done accounts and categories. Let's do expenses because it has less properties. Let's look at create expenses. Create a new model called expense. Okay, we are gonna copy this. And this one is expense. Let's just make sure this builds still. Okay, here is expense. So the schema is expenses with an S. And we have ID. We have category UID. We're gonna make this description. And hopefully I spell description right. Yeah. Okay, description, let's do amount, date, whoops. Date. I'm gonna put all the foreign keys together. So this one's a foreign key, and account UUID, and then this one. It doesn't really matter, honestly. But I want to keep them together. That one's currency. And are those all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, cool. That's all of them. Oh, that's what I taught in my courses on Code with Chris. That seems like a smart person. Yeah, I have to go back and look at those because I forget, honestly. I had to look at that when I like started up this project. I like forgot how to do something. So we will get there when we get there for that part. Okay, let's do all of these ones that do not have a foreign key relationship, because that will take some more research. And then we'll probably just finish up making the model, and that'll be like the end of this stream, because I don't want it to go too long. It's already been an hour, and we still have a little bit more to go. Because we have to find the foreign key relationships actually for expenses and for income. So let's do amount, and let's double check. Let's actually just open expense next to this. And we can do this way. Okay, so amount. This will be amount. Okay, that's what we called it, and amount is an integer, and we need to change the variable name. that's an integer, so we can get rid of that. Oh my gosh. Okay, currency. Copy and paste, and currency is an integer, so that's good. Or it's not an integer, it's a string. Okay, currency, so we can delete, oh my goodness, delete this comment. Oh, so one thing, I do not have SwiftLint on this project because this is a Vapor project, meaning like typically when you add SwiftLint, you add it as a build phase to the Xcode project, but within this, there is no Xcode project, so you can't add it in that same way. So you could add it as like a binary to, no, it still runs the run script phase. You can technically run SwiftLint in your terminal. So if I run SwiftLint here, yeah, there's a bunch of random trailing whitespace violations. Here's all of the files that it ran through. Oh yeah, linting those ones were fine, but these ones had issues. And then I don't know what the rest of that is, but that's how you can run SwiftLint on a server-side project if you really wanted to. When the new, what is it, Swift? Are they called packages? No, we have Swift Package Manager. What are the things called? It was released in DubDub this year. It's not packages, but it's some kind of like Swift build thing. Once that gets added to Xcode, which is probably in Xcode 14, then I think we can use SwiftLint within a Vapor project, but otherwise you can also run it from the command line. Limit vertical white space on my expense. Oh, that's probably those two. So if we run the scan, we had 24 violations, now it's 21. Yeah. It was that one. Oh yeah, okay, so you can't see my whole file path. Okay, so we have that, we have date. Let's copy this again. And we're using date. Ooh, you know what? It was probably not the best idea to use date as the variable name because date is a keyword. So we can keep it like this. It's not awful, but sometimes it could get confusing. We'll keep it for now. Okay, we did all those because all the comments are gone. Let's do category UUID. So now we have to figure out the relationship between rear model, yeah. What's the alias? That's cool. We need to make a relationship because we have a foreign key. So we need to do that now. It might be better to define the column names inside the struct field keys of the class. What do you mean? Oh, like make a struct called field keys and then use those instead of the string, you mean? Yeah, Fluent recommends snake case for database keys and camel case for property names. That's also just a general SQL kind of thing, is typically snake case is used. But I know I broke that with, I did try to keep it with most of them. I remember doing that, but I did break it with it's the category. If we go here, create category, this one is called is archived. Because it's weird to me to have like is underscore archived. But I mean it is normal, I just don't like it, so I didn't do that. Yeah, I could do that. I don't know, we only type them this one time, so we don't ever type them again and they're type safe after that. We'll see. Okay, optional field, yeah. Should we use optional field? I don't think we need optional field. Oh wait, we do need to use optional field, I think, for some of these, because not all of them, yeah, are required. Okay, we will go back to the... No, we did those. All of those are required, so it's really only now we need optional field. Okay. So, which one of these were optional? I think I made almost all of them required. Okay. Description is optional, so this needs to be optional field. And this can then be a question mark. Okay, amount is required, currency, date. Okay, all those, everything else required. Okay, we're good. Everything else is required. That one was just the only optional. And here we go. Now we need to get into our lovely relationships. So what's nice though is we're not using timestamp because we don't care about, or I don't care about the time. I just care about the date. Okay, we need parent. Okay, we'll look at relations, but we need... Yeah, because when you have timestamp, you have to start thinking about like the date format of everything, and that's confusing because there's lots of ways for dates and times, as we talked about earlier. Oh, this is soft delete. Oh, that's weird. Why would you need a soft delete? Oh, this would be if you wanted something to still exist but no longer exist. I think I'm using his archive for that. Okay. Okay, we have enum. Okay, I think relations. Yeah, okay, relations is what is actually the doc we need to be looking at. Okay, so our category will have a one-to-many or this one specifically will be one-to-many. So the one is, this will only ever refer to a single category UUID. So So yeah, we can't have a single expense with multiple categories on it. You technically could if you really wanted to, but I'm not going to for right now. You can only choose one. But the category UUID from the categories table, that's a one-to-many, because one category UUID can refer to many different expenses. But from here, so yeah, because that's a one-to-many, we need this one, parent and children. Okay, so parent stores another model's ID property. We have made the category table, right? We made that one. Okay, let's keep that one open. We may need that again. Okay, parent relation stores a reference to another model's ID property. Okay, so that means it's right here. This needs to be a parent, I believe. And this will refer to, will it be like this? Category ID? I think. Parent relation stores a reference to another model's ID property. Yeah, because we are going to be looking at var Because really, I only need the UUID because then you can join the tables together based on that, but I don't know. Because that's how it would work in SQL, is you get the UUID, you join on that UUID, and then you can get all the properties of it. But with this, a reference to another model's ID property. Well, that's what this one is, so... Do I call this category ID? Oh, let's create category. We're an expense. Yeah, I call it categories ID. I don't know. Parent contains a field name ID, which is used for setting and updating a relation. For instance, the plan initializer would look like that. So we will need this part. Okay, so that is right. What's the... Megan, what's the key part of this? Is it that? I want to say it probably is. Because, yeah, that's how all of the others have been related together. And then... Following field definition. Okay. Ooh, thank you. Who bought me a coffee? Okay, I cannot see that on my stream. It's too tiny. Wait, can I see it? I have my iPad in front of me. Oh, it was Abex61. Yeah, 617 bought you a coffee, and it says, "Thanks for streaming and sharing content to the community. Thank you for the coffee. I appreciate it." That specifically says new supporter, so that might mean if somebody already has bought me a coffee and they buy another one, I don't know if it would show up. But thank you for the coffee. I appreciate it. Let me see. It's on I get notifications on my phone too. Awesome, thank you. I appreciate it very much. Okay. We did that. Now. So this one cannot be null because we said required, so. Okay, that's the one-to-one children. We'll get to the children part in a second. The parent part, let's finish that because okay, yeah, Megan, you said this correct, so we're gonna go with this. There we go. So we have that, we have this one, and we have accounts ID. And this will go to account, and this will go to an account. Okay. Did we finish building we built the initializer for the last one, right? I'm like forgetting what we're doing. Okay. Cool. Let's build the initializer. Let's make this window bigger for right now. Okay, we have UUID. We have category, which is, whoops, category, but what does this say to do? Oh, it says to do this. So we need to do, this is going to be category ID. the star.id value. So this would be category.id value. Let's do self.category is equal to, we need the $sign. .id is equal, oops. Okay, so that is how we do this. Why do we not call this star ID rather than just star? I don't remember. I believe this fetches the whole object, but I am not 100% sure. Okay, so we have that one. Let's do account ID, which is account dot ID value that Xcode cannot figure out what syntax highlighting is. And we do self dot account dot ID is equal to, not category, account ID. Okay, now we need description. And this can be optional. So we have description, we need amount. So I was debating if I want to make this one like big long line or actually use line breaks, because usually that looks better. We're gonna do that. We'll add some line breaks because this initializer is really long. Of course then, okay. We have amount, that is an integer. We have currency, which is a string, and date, which is a date. Okay. It should fetch the whole object. Okay, cool. I couldn't remember. What do you mean Duncan classes? You refer to a class. Okay. I forgot. So, okay, we have self.description, self.amount is equal to amount. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 properties for expenses. We made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, cool. Let's build that. Build succeeded. Let's run Swiftlet and see. 20 violations, so I still have trailing white space? Where is this? Line 19. Oh, so that's the one I typically remove because the trailing white space violation here is this. So if I hit backspace and ran this again, it says found, oh my goodness, that's my thing. It says found 20 violations. Now if we hit enter, yeah, now it's 19. Because having a tab here is like a white space violation, but I don't care. I ignore trailing white space. It's the it's like the new line white space that I keep, that one. But that's fine. Okay, so we have this. I think that's it. Let's do it. That was expense. Last one. Income. Let's commit this. Okay. Let's do come on. Actually, I'm gonna keep expense open because we're gonna copy and paste some more. In case you didn't know, there's a handy Xcode setting that automatically removes trailing white space. Yeah, I know it's there. I don't care though. Like I've used that on mine, I think because it was enabled by default or something, and I really didn't like it. It was weird. Is every time like I would save, it would just move all the spaces, and I did not like that. But like it's only noticeable when you actually click on the line. Otherwise, you wouldn't notice it at all. It's literally just a space or a tab. So I don't care enough. So we need this. Actually, not that one. We're gonna cut account again. Oh, okay, that did make a noise. Who just bought me a coffee? I see it now. Hey Nate, thank you for buying me a coffee. I appreciate it. Your streams about full stack iOS are really cool. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, so cool. Now I know I did set this up, because yeah, it's this one off, and that's how I noticed it, because... Did you hear something on your side then? Did you get like a little ding or something? Because I heard it on my side then. But yeah, thank you, Nate. I appreciate it. Okay, let's, in your example, in a category. Did I do that? For category? Because according to the docs, it uses this for the, like, foreign key relationship. Oh, I did, okay, thank you. I know what you're talking about now. Not category, it's expense. It's the one we just did. Oh, no, I got it. We're good. We are good. Was that the one you were talking about? Okay, let's open that over there. Okay, I just flipped these. Okay, we'll keep income is the one I want in another pane. And then create income is here. Okay, we have ID. We have category ID. Account ID. Oh, we can copy and paste that, and we will. Okay, name is going to be description. We have invoice number. Oops. Date paid. What currency? Is that all of them? We're gonna count over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Am I missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 9 was the on a different migration, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am missing one. Which one am I missing? Amount invoice date. I think invoice date is the one I'm missing. Yeah. In your example, which example are you talking about, Peter? We have those. That was super simple. Okay, we have amount and currency as well. Look at this. This is why we copy and paste. Okay, what's between these two? Invoice number is field key. What did I call this? I did call it invoice number. So I made this a string even though we're calling it invoice number because like the invoice numbers I use even on some of my stuff is like 22-012. So that's not actually an integer, it's a string. Okay, and Peter, you're talking about on category. Here? I don't know which part you're talking about. In the database, you have foreign key IDs, but the model you have an object. Yeah. I believe it should work out. Because this is just how we're going to fetch everything. I think this part really will save the ID property only. We'll find out, but I believe this will use the UUID property. We will see, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works, but I could be wrong. Okay. Because yeah, this fetches the whole object, which like kind of does the join for you in some cases. Invoice number, okay, we just did this one. Invoice date is that. That's on that other migration. Yeah, we called it invoice date. Oops, and that is a date, and we are gonna copy that. This is date paid. And there we go. Okay, do we have all 9 again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 properties. Awesome. So we can close that. We are going to copy some of these as well, because we have those 2. Actually, we have 3 of them. Oh my gosh, that formatting hurts my mind. We'll fix it though. Okay. We need both of those. Okay. Oh geez. Category was wrong. Category is the parent of. Wait. Okay, I'm gonna finish this initialize. Then we're gonna go back to that because I think I know what you mean. Okay, I don't think we don't have name anymore. No. You need to learn to speak English. English is a tough language. Don't worry about it. I'm a native speaker of English, so like, even if somebody just has very poor English, like I can understand what they're saying because it's the language I speak. But yeah, English is tough. Don't worry about it. English is a very difficult language. Okay, we have in order ID, category, account. So let's do that. No, we need the $sign. Category.id is equal to category ID. Account ID. Okay, then we did have description. Invoice number. Okay, that's the next one here. And that is a string. Invoice dates, invoice number. Self dot invoice date. And we need invoice, actually. Invoice date is a date. Self dot date paid. Well, that is also a date. Did I made, we need to go back. I made some of these optional. I see how somebody on my last stream was saying how some other things like make all this for you. And I see why. This is tedious. Oh wait, I have amount in currency. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9. Okay, so some of these I remember are optional. So we have to use, I think it was, what was it? In expense we did this. Yeah, there's optional field. You think Xcode 14 auto-generates initialers though? Yeah. I don't think it's just Xcode 14. I'm pretty sure Xcode 13 can do that, but yeah, I believe that might be for structs only. I don't remember, but I know some of them do, for sure. I know we can do it. I just don't remember where that's at. Yeah, I cannot remember where that's at, but I know it's possible in Xcode 13 as well. Okay, we have categories ID. We need to use... Which one of these did we make optional? Oh no, did we not make some of these optional? We should have. Doing income. Let's look again. Okay, let's make these a little smaller to see it all. Okay, description. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the exact same file next to each other. Okay, we can just put that over here. Make this window way smaller. Okay, description can be optional, so this needs to be optional field. And then this is a question mark and description equals nil. Okay. Description can be optional. Invoice number can be optional. This means we need a question mark. Invoice number can be equal to nil. And invoice date. Okay, so the equals nil is our default value, and then the parameter itself can be optional. Was that it? 1, 2, 3. Invoice date, invoice number. We mark both of those. What was the other one? Description. Okay, we have all the properties, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Oh my gosh, that was income. Was that the last one? I don't even remember at this point. Okay, let's look back. We have 4 tables. We have income, expense, categories, and account. Did we make all of those? Oh gosh, they're in alphabetical. Okay, the account, category, expense, income. Okay, we did do it all. Yeah, we're gonna stop here, so then the next stream could be all of these APIs for all the different CRUD operations we have for these, and low-key, the database side will almost be done. Given the time I've taken for everything else, I feel like this will probably be about 2 streams to do that. I hope I made all of these correctly, because we can't test them until we actually make the API side, so we will see. I'm gonna disconnect this. But okay, so that is going to be it for today. So what we did today was we, let me turn off the music. So what we did was we used our different Postgres tables that we have here, and we created the fluent models. So we created the migrations already, which was like the source control for our database were the migrations, and that's what actually created our tables for us. But then now we used, let me open this one. We created the fluent models, which these are what we are going to actually reference within the all the different routes for like saving and updating data and creating data. So these are all tied to the tables themselves and the different columns that we created. So we made the 4 different tables we needed. We made we made categories, accounts, income, and expenses. So that was it. I think I did this right. We will find out if I did all of this right. So in the next stream, that's when we are actually going to go and make the APIs, like where we can really start testing if anything worked. So be sure to tune in next week for that. So we'll be making the API with Vapor, and thank you for everybody who joined today, and be sure to like the video and let me know if there's anything else you want to see. Thanks. Bye.